Welcome back, YouTube. Brother Kimo here with Reload Hawaii. Man, I cannot wait to start this review for you guys. This has probably been the most fun review I've done since I've started reviewing. And what we're going to be talking about is the Taurus Model 689 and bringing it against the legendary Smith & Wesson Model 686. Man, these kind of look similar. I wonder which one is going to do you dirty and which one of these is going to win. Welcome back, everybody. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the review. So, the main reason I wanted to compare these is not only is there a big price difference, well, for me it's a big price difference, but when I did the original review for the Taurus, this guy here at the top, the Taurus website says on there that both companies were owned by the same company in the 70s. I think the company's name was Bandor. So during that time, there were sister companies, and that could be a very good reason why both of them look similar. And a lot of the internal workings are very similar as well. I mean, well, let's face it, revolvers aren't very complicated pistols. So, you know, that's probably why they share a lot of the same design features. They're sister companies. So I wanted to see, hey, is it worth the extra money? So I tried. It took me a while to find a Smith that kind of looked like my Taurus, and I think I did a pretty good job. And they look pretty much the same, with the exception of this ribbing on the top. Now, the ribbing on this Taurus doesn't have any functionality. It's not ported. It's basically just there for looks. But again, I think you can get the Taurus brand new with rubber rips for about $400, and on the Smith side, about $700 with rubber rips. If you wanted the wood grips, about $80 to $100, depending on what website or what state you live in or whatever. But let's do this. I'll start from the top, and then I'll kind of work my way down. We'll talk about lockup for a little bit, and then we'll move on to the accuracy and trigger pull stuff at the ending. And hopefully by the ending, you can decide, hey, is it worth the extra $300, or do I want to just save some money for ammo or whatever? Okay, so starting with the front sights, you can see both of them have the same type of orange ramp insert here. Both of them have 4-inch barrels. Both of them are 6-shot. If you notice here, you're going to be able to see some residue here and a little bit here. I left them in the cylinder area just to kind of show you that it's a little bit harder to clean the finish on this for some reason. Like the gunpowder is a lot easier to wipe off of this than it is with the Taurus. So for me, that's worth the extra $300 right there. Easier to clean up? Heck yeah, because cleaning revolver is not fun. You got to clean each one of these cylinders as well as the barrel. But you get to see a little bit more of that when I move them around. Hammer spurs are identical to me in texture. So are the cylinder release levers. The Taurus has a groove trigger. The Smith is smooth. The stippling on the grips are the same. When I flip them over, you're going to be able to see that the Taurus grip is a lot smaller than the one that came with this Smith & Wesson. But other than that, they are identical. They're not pinned. For those of you who don't know, the earlier model revolvers had a pin in here, and both of them are also regular type cylinders. They're not recessed in any way. So let me pick them up. I'll move them around. We'll check up the lockup, and we'll move on to the next section. So we'll start off by picking these up and looking at the front sights. Both of these are cleared, by the way. There are no rounds in my room or no ammunition. So there you can see that the front inserts are orange. The ramp systems are there in the front. Pretty much looking the same all the way down here to the rear sights that are adjustable. Both of them are U rear sights, as you can see here. I'm going to flip them back over so you can see the hammer spur area. Texturing, very aggressive, so you can get your thumb on it. A lot of people like to cut these off, you know, so that if you're using it in a holster, it doesn't get caught on anything. But I like to shoot single action, so I'll leave it on there. You can see that the levers here, cylinder release levers, are textured the same. I'm going to get the Smith out of here so you can see the grooves there on the trigger. The Smith is smooth in that same area, as you can see there. I'm going to put these back to back so you can see what they look like. Wow, I can see the residue left there by the gunpowder. So hard to get off on the Taurus. So similarities there. I'm going to flip them over so you can see how larger or how much bigger the Smith grip is, which is in this hand. Bam! But just looking at that, you know, this portion is the same. Right under here, under the crane is the same. A lot of similarities, even down to the font that they use to mark on the barrel here. So there's a Smith & Wesson font. I'm going to flip that around here. You can see the Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum font. And here's what it looks like on the Taurus. That's pretty close. To me, it's identical. For some people that are good at spotting stuff out, you know, whatever. But there's the 357 Magnum here. These are made in Brazil. As you can see, they're brought in, made in Brazil here, but brought in through Taurus USA through Miami, Florida. So there's a Taurus roll mark there. But even these grips are very beautiful. Man, good stuff. Here is the lockup. A lot of people want to know about lockup, so here we go. Bit of wiggle there. The forcing cone right in this area, you can see there's not a lot of space in between us, so that's very, very important. That's the lockup on the Taurus. And here is the lockup on the Smith. Oop. Oh, not a lot. That is tight, and you can actually see here that the very tight fitting in the forcing cone here. That's good to have. This model of Smith has the external firing pin. The Taurus there did have an internal firing pin, so there's a little bit of difference there. Also, you're going to see some pictures that I'm going to roll in. The Smith here has a mainspring housing. That's the flat spring, or some people call it the leaf spring, while the Taurus uses a coil mainspring housing. But here's the back of that too. I just wanted to point out that look at the mainspring area. They're even, you know, down to these cuts right in this area. It's almost the same there too. You know, the grips are cut in this U area the same way. They fit, you know, almost in the same way here. If the holes for the mainspring housing area on the handle were cut the same, the grips would fit identically in there, but they got holes cut in different places. But yeah, there you go. Have a look at that stuff. We're going to stop the video right here so I can roll in the footage of the scale and the trigger pull scale, and then we'll end with the accuracy test. And like I said, hopefully by the ending of the video, you're going to be able to decide which one you'd like to have. Okay, see you in a bit. Oh man, check that out. Shooting revolvers. If there's anybody out there that's watching this and you're on the fence, you know, about getting a revolver, just go ahead and do it, because it's going to be one of the most fun pistols you ever did shoot. For sure, it's going to be one of the most accurate. And number two, man, there ain't nothing like pulling back a pistol into single action mode and tapping that trigger and letting it fly, man. It's super good stuff. One thing I did forget to mention, that both of these companies do offer a lifetime warranty. The Smith & Wesson pistols do carry or just cover the original buyer. The Taurus one is pretty good. It does cover secondary owners, and you know, it's transferable basically, but it doesn't cover grips, sights, accessories, cosmetic defects after 1 year. So you know, check them out. I've talked to a lot of people that have had Taurus, you know, that have bought them secondhand, and they do stand behind their product. But let's get into the overall weight of these two pistols. You'll see the Smith & Wesson there weighing in at 2.9 pounds, the Taurus at 2.4. Now the grips on the Smith were a little bit heavier, so what I did on these next two slides is I showed you how much they weigh without the grip panels on. So there's a Smith there at 2.5, and the Taurus there at 2.13. And then if you look really closely on these things, you can see the difference between the mainspring types that they use. In fact, in the next slide, you can see it there. The Taurus is the one on the left. It uses a coil, and the the Smith is the one on the right that uses a, you know, some people call it a flat spring, some people call it a leaf spring, whatever. Some people say that the coil is going to last longer, it's more reliable, whatever, I don't know. Some say that one feels better than the other. I didn't notice a difference, but my recommendation is they're both great. Next slide is going to be the trigger pull results. So you can see the double action is on the left, single action is on the right. You know, a lot of people are trying to convince me that the Smith had the far superior trigger. Guys, I got to tell you, they both felt equally as fantastic, especially in the single action mode. You can see there that the Smith actually is a little bit heavier. I'm going to call it the same. I'm going to call both of these triggers the same. Maybe I would have to give the, when you cock back the hammer on the Smith, that feels a little bit more solid and more robust. But numerically, when I pulled it 5 times and looked at the average, they're almost identical. Next up, here's the accuracy results. So here we go. I just this was my warm-up round with both of these. I tried to sling out 15 with the Smith and then 15 with the Taurus. This next slide is going to be 5 shots with the Smith here, and this next slide is going to be with the Taurus. So you can see the grouping with the Smith is a lot tighter. So if you're looking for my recommendation on this one, I'm going to go with the Smith & Wesson. My main reason is I just the finish is so much easier to clean on the Smith, and it could be because it's more of a brushed finish than a polished finish. But for me, that's a big one, man. I've been using the Taurus for a long time, and I have to, I tried every type of solvent out there to get it clean. I soaked it, and it doesn't come off. You have to use a polish to get it off. So the big one for me is cleaning, and the lockup. The lockup on the Smith is super solid. It is a brick. Of course, the more, the less lockup, or the better lockup you have, the more accuracy you're going to get from that. And overall, the overall feeling that I got with the Smith was a lot better. So, and if you look at the accuracy results here, they're pretty good. These are shot with the 38 special. I think 3.5 grains of bullseye is what I use on this one. The Magnums, the 357 Magnums did well. It's a revolver. They shot really accurate. And I shot maybe like 25 of each. I didn't have much 357 around. Those are kind of expensive. I do have reloading stuff for 38 special, but not for 357 Magnum. So, guys, that's the end of the review. If you're looking for my recommendation, I'm going to stick with the Smith & Wesson for those reasons. Better finish. Even though it's a little bit more expensive, about $300 more, the finish is better, easier to clean. The lockup is a lot tighter, resulting in better accuracy. For me, those things are worth the $300 difference. It's up to you, though. Don't ever think that the Taurus is a bad deal, because it ain't. I've been using it for a very long time. But that's the end of the review. Guys, thanks for hanging in there. If you liked the review, please give me the thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, click subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.